Are you in the process of moving abroad? Then this video is for you. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the most common visa documents that you can expect to need when you're moving abroad. And not only have I moved to 2 countries and spent 7 years as an expat myself, so I've had a lot of visas and a lot of visa renewals, I also spent the majority of my HR career working to help people move abroad and help them obtain visas for many different countries. So work visas and just visas in general is kind of my wheelhouse. So today I want to share with you everything I know about just the most common visa documents you can expect to need. All right, before we get into the video, be sure to go below, give me a thumbs up, and also hit that red subscribe button. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we have about 50 more to go. I'm at about 950, so I would really appreciate a subscribe. I talk about expat life content on here. I talk about Argentina life, Angola life. So if that's something you're interested in, then definitely hit that red button. And also share this with a friend. If you have a friend or a family member that is thinking about moving abroad, then definitely send them this video because they're going to need a visa. All right, now let's talk about visa documents. The first one I'm going to talk about is a health certificate. This visa requirement is very common if you are going overseas with your employer or a company. The company that you're going overseas for will want to make sure that you're generally in good health before they send you abroad. And also the receiving country, so the country you're going to, will also want to be told and make sure that you are in good health because they don't want you to come over and just immediately need medical assistance or wind up in their healthcare system. And I also think it's a positive thing for you to get a physical exam before you move abroad. That way you make sure that everything is in good working order and you shouldn't have any issues when you're in a more foreign country or you're further away from healthcare systems that you know. And I talked pretty extensively about physical exams before moving abroad. I will link the video up in the cards for you to check out. It's a great video, it's pretty short, and it's everything that you need to know about getting physical exams before moving abroad. The next document that you might need for your visa is going to be a marriage certificate. And you'll need a marriage certificate if you are planning to move abroad with your spouse. So for me, that was the case. My husband received a work visa to work overseas, and I received a spousal visa. And in that spousal visa, in order to obtain it, we had to show, of course, proof of marriage, and that's where we used our marriage certificate. And you won't actually want to use your actual marriage certificate. What you'll want to do is go down to, in the US, it's the county courthouse, and you will get notified copies or certified copies of your marriage certificate. And while we were at it, we just got, I think, 3 or 4, and we just kept them with us while we were on assignment. Because we knew when we were in Angola or Argentina that we might need to renew the visas and that a marriage certificate would be required. So we got a couple before we moved overseas and they were ready to go. Now let's talk about background checks. And a background check is usually required for a work visa whenever you're moving abroad with your employer. And it's going to be obviously for the receiving country. That government wants to know that they are not inviting a known criminal to come and work and stay in their country. And I found them generally pretty easy to obtain, at least in Houston, Texas. We would go downtown to one of the county buildings there and you would request it. I believe it's like a $20, $25 fee. It also includes your fingerprints, so be prepared for that. The next one's going to be vaccinations. And sometimes countries may want to see that you have been vaccinated against a certain disease before they actually grant your work visa. So when I moved to Angola, they wanted to ensure everyone was vaccinated against yellow fever. So we had to actually show that to get the visa, and then even to get in the airport. You couldn't even get inside the airport without showing your yellow fever card. So that was something that was important to them, and depending on where you go, they might have immunizations that are required in order for you to go there. And of course, in our post-pandemic world, I'm assuming that most work visa applications will probably require the COVID vaccine as well. I don't know that, but I would just assume that a lot of countries are going to want to only bring in fully vaccinated people to stay and live there. So definitely be prepared to see that requirement as well. Another common visa document is going to be the letter of invitation or letter of guarantee. And these can be either for a visitor visa or a work visa and also a business visa. And what this is an actual letter that is typed up by your employer, and it's showing the government of the country you're trying to move to that they are formally inviting you to move there and the reasons why they want that employee to move to that country. So perhaps you have a specialized skill set, perhaps you're going there for a year to learn a certain skill that that country offers, or maybe you're going there to help mentor some other employees. Before granting a work visa, the country will want to know why they should grant it and what you're going to be doing there. And the letter of guarantee can sometimes be in the same letter of invitation, so it's just one letter, or there can be two letters. And the letter of guarantee specifically guarantees the government of the country you're moving to that should you get into any kind of trouble overseas, that the company will be held responsible. Something else you might have to show the embassy when you're requesting a visa is going to be proof of travel or a flight itinerary. And it's really for two reasons. One, they want to know when you're planning on going, when you're planning on moving. That way they can issue the visa with the correct dates. They don't want to issue a visa that's effective immediately and then you're not traveling for 2 months, or vice versa. Maybe you need to travel, next week, and they issue the visa effective for the first of the next month. So they want to know exactly what day you're planning to travel. And the second reason is they want to ensure you're actually planning on traveling to their country. They don't want to issue a bunch of visas out to people and they're not getting used and they're just kind of out there floating around. So a flight itinerary will show them that you are actually planning to move to their country once you get the visa. Proof of funds or a bank statement. So this one took me by a little bit of surprise when I first heard about it for Angola. Now, don't worry too much. They don't want a whole net worth statement. You don't have to show them all of your accounts or anything like that. They basically just want to see that you do have a few hundreds to maybe $1,000 or $2,000 in your bank account, because they want to ensure that you will not become reliant on their government as soon as you arrive. They want to ensure that you have enough money to actually live in that country and you're not coming over, with $20, $50 and you're just hoping to make it there. And just remember, you are going to be a visitor in the country you're moving to. You might be a long-term visitor, but you're still a visitor and not a citizen. And that country doesn't want you to move there and immediately require financial assistance. And so having a proof of funds or a bank statement really helps secure them to make sure that they know you can afford to live there. And the last one I'm going to talk about today, before I talk about some administrative paperwork, is going to be a statement to abide by rules or laws. And this one's not as common. I've only seen it with a few countries, but what it is, it's literally just a statement on a piece of paper that says, here's Harvey. It's literally a statement on a piece of paper that says you will abide by the rules and the laws of that country, and you sign your name. So it's pretty simple, and it might be required depending on where you're moving to. Now let's talk about some administrative things that I think every single visa application is going to require. It's just 4 quick little things that, again, I think everyone will need when you apply for a visa, no matter what type of visa it is. And the first one's going to be passport copies. So in addition to your actual physical passport that you're going to have to turn in, that the visa will actually be placed in, the embassy is going to want a copy of that information page. So where it has your name, your birth date, the expiration date, all of that information, they're going to want a copy of that as well. Another thing all the visa applications are going to require is passport photo. So go ahead, if you're in America, go to CVS or Walgreens and take your passport photos. You'll also need an application to go with all the visa documents I've talked about. And that's typically going to be 1, maybe 2 pages with just your basic questions, your name, your family name, your birth date, reasons you're moving, dates that you're moving, and then all the documents I've talked about previously will kind of back up the information on that application. And finally, payment. This isn't going to be done for free. There is going to be some sort of a payment to go along with the visa request. So just be prepared to pay for that. Usually you can do check, cash, or credit card at the embassy, but be prepared for a payment fee. All right, friends, that wraps up everything I know about general visa documents. I hope this has helped give you an idea of what you can expect when you're obtaining a visa. And as I mentioned, each country has very unique requirements, so definitely check the embassy's website that you're planning on moving to and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye, friends.